Well, what's the biggest thing you learned? I know you've been on sidelines a lot, but you haven't been head coach. What's the biggest thing you learned this season?
Uh, a lot of lessons. Balancing my special teams voice and my head coach voice was one. Being pulled in a billion directions and being able to manage that at all times, I think was one thing. You get kind of used to just, you 2 minutes here, 5 minutes here, go do media scrum, go back to do interviews with players, just stuff like that. You get used to doing that. But, lots of lessons throughout the way. I'm super critical of myself, so every decision I made, I'd go back and look at it and evaluate it and just try to grow that way.
When you look at the identity of the team, would it be fair to say you like the attitude and the character? Is it just that bad football you got to get out of their system? Is that part of identity too? Is that you just don't see stretches of that with good teams?
Yeah, I mean, I think we established who we want to be. I think the foundation is in place here to be able to build on it next year and really hit the ground running. I think we established that we want to be a team that prepares the right way. We did that. I think we wanted to be a connected football team. They are. We wanted to be a team that believes they can win every game and believes they can come back when mistakes happen on the field. And I think that those are things that we had to go through our experiences to find out and believe. But I think that we got that done. And, those are pieces that you can build on for the next year.
And how big was Cody as part of that belief when he started to get the starts?
Yeah, it's not a secret that changed the trajectory of the football team in the course of the season, and that's not a shot at anyone else. He raised the level of play of everyone around him. He raised the level of the execution of the offense, and he gave our football team belief at a critical time in the year when we needed it.
I know you're not the GM, you're the head coach, but the quarterback situation seems to be Cody would like to come back, but there's some dominoes that have to fall. And the big question mark is what about Trey, who is under contract? Where do you see both right now in your desire for 26 as far as who should be under center?
Yeah, I would like Cody Fajardo to be under center. I think our football team. I think I really resonate with him as a human. I think the team feeds off that he has a chip on his shoulder when he takes the field. And again, that's not a shot on anyone. I feel like Trey Ford can play quarterback in the CFL. If it's here, so be it. If it's not, maybe a fresh start is good for him. I think that I know he did learn from watching Cody the way he conducted himself on a day-to-day basis in practice and meetings. I know that that's beneficial. I also know that starting quarterbacks, it takes them a little while. You look across the league, guys like Trevor Harris, Vernon Adams, even Cody, they spent a lot of time as backups before they got their shot and before they really figured out who they wanted to be and how they were going to do that. And, Trey's no different.
Mark, you dealt with a lot of injuries, especially on the defensive side. But the young guys that stepped in, it seemed like your defense didn't miss a beat. Can you just talk about the rookies that stepped in for you on the defensive side of the ball because they were very impressive?
No doubt. I mean, on all three levels of that defense, guys like Jalen Garnes, Kenny Logan, we put them in positions where we asked a lot of them. Free safety Sam, where they're making a ton of adjustments, a ton of communication. And that's a credit to them. That's a credit to the defensive staff getting them ready. But having so many young guys contribute, gain invaluable experience, positive and negative. That's going to make them better players, and that's going to make this football team better next year when we all get to camp and we can build off those shared experiences.
Coach, I asked you last night. You said you might have an answer for me today, and you touched on it a bit with Reed's question, and again talked about it with going at it special team voice versus head coach voice. But how do you assess first season as head coach?
Yeah, I'm proud of the growth of the team. We fell short of our goal. We wanted to make the playoffs. We're a sub 500 football team. Those are goals that we did not reach, and we're going to evaluate everything to try to accomplish that. As far as when I took the job, I was fighting a narrative around the club, and I think that we tried to block the outside noise out a lot and just focus on how we were competing in practice and the things that we stated we thought were important. And I think that we found our identity. I think that, the back half of the season showed that. We found a formula that was winning for us, and guys bought in, and guys believed in each other. And so from that perspective, I was pleased with that result.
How has the relationship with JC and Jordan grown throughout the season, like beginning of the season to during the season and now end of the season, where you have seasons worth of tape and understanding, meetings, convos? Like, how does it feel with those two guys?
Like my relationship with them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I had a really good relationship with JC before. Jordan and we spent a year together in Calgary that I barely remember. He was in the video department, and it was always just kind of, an acquaintance on game day type deal. But, I spent more time in offensive meetings than I ever have in my life this season trying to get on the same page with those guys. And I think, part of it is you took all these brand new people and you put them into a room, players, coaches, admin, and we had to figure this thing out at the start of this year. Now we kind of understand how we like to work with each other, what our personalities are like on game day, while we're game planning, on our off days, all those things. And I think that's going to set us forward and be able to hit the ground running because we've already gained that experience together.
Is the plan then to try and have everybody, the same coaching staff, back next year?
We haven't got that far yet. We're doing, obviously, we just wrapped up. And, we're trying to do the players' evaluation first, and then I'm going to meet with the staff individually next week, and we're going to kind of progress from there. There's a lot of things we got to comb through, things that we did well, things where we can improve, and then decisions will be made at that time.
What's the biggest thing on the agenda of a head coach in the off season?
Well, I mean, you first trying to have closure with all the players. I think it's important that you give them the time that they deserve. I mean, we ask a lot of them. I want to give them, when we have exit meetings, that's why it's taking so long. I give them a platform to communicate how they felt about their season, things that they can get better, and then I give them feedback, vice versa. So it starts with the players. Then we'll do our own evaluations on the coaching, on the schemes, how we think we can get better, and then we'll meet with the personnel department and try to take the next step. So, there's still a lot of work. We've been pushing hard all the way to this point. It's not like we just shut it down. We're going to work through, and that's important so that we can hit the ground running because we need to start faster. I mean, we started in a hole this year, and we did embrace the chase pack mentality, but we just couldn't get out of it. And it's important that we start faster next year.
I think the last few years, the team has finished pretty well. Everyone expected a better start, and it hasn't been there. What's the key to taking any momentum you got in the second half this year and get that into game one next year?
Yeah, building off of what we've established is who we want to be. We can't take a step backwards and say, oh, now we're relearning how to do this. No, the standards are in place of how we expect to act on a day-to-day basis, how we expect to play on the field, how we expect to practice. And that's where we start so that we can build off that block to the next step, and compete with the best teams right out of the gate next year.